The truth is, most people don't have great careers because most people don't have great lives. And I'm not saying that as a dig or a judgment. I'm saying that as someone who's continually trying to improve his own life every single day, because it's very difficult and it's not something that's straightforward. And there are a lot of conflicting ideals out there and ways to do it. And everyone is different. So every single thing is different, works differently with each person. That's why there's no one right way to search for a job, no one right answer to what your career should be. There's just lots of possibilities that we have to sift through and make good choices around. In order to make good choices in our career, we have to learn how to make good choices, period. Are the choices that we make on a daily basis improving our lives or destroying our lives? So we look at this reading and we go, okay, cognitive behavioral therapy is all about changing the thought patterns, because that's what memories are, right? Memories are just thought patterns. We remember something, but we remember it with a tint, a color, right? If anyone here has seen that amazing movie, Inside Out by Pixar, they talk about how the same memory can be colored with different emotions, right? When joy touches it, it's a happy memory. When sadness touches it, it's a sad memory. It goes from yellow to blue. If anger touches it, it becomes an angry memory. And whenever we think back on something, we're remembering the last time we remembered it. So we can, with practice over time, slowly turn negative stories into positive ones. I'm currently reading the book 50th Law, where they're talking about, there's a book called The 49 Laws of Power. Very interesting, very cool book. And the 50th Law is the same author, except that he's talking with 50 Cent about the one additional law that you need in your life, which I believe is something along the lines of like extreme ownership, which is what we teach here. And so the idea being 50 Cent has had a lot of hardships in his life. His mom was a drug dealer who got killed. He was a drug dealer. He got shot 9 times the week his album came out. But he looks at life in a way where he takes every negative and makes it a positive. Every negative circumstance, he finds a way to twist it into something he can use for marketing, or something he can use in a story, or something he can use in a song, or something he can use to be more successful. And this approach of always looking at a negative with the view of how do I make this a positive keeps him from becoming a victim. He's not a victim of these gunshots, aka someone who is not going to be able to pick himself back up and get back out there. Truly losing would be to be too afraid to continue with his career because he's worried of getting shot again. What he did was he said, screw it, now I don't have a fear of death, let's go do this even harder, right? So when we think about our lives, we have to look at the words we're using to describe ourselves, the words we're using to describe our careers, the words we're using to describe our past, the words we're using to describe our value. So often I talk to people and I say, so tell me about your, career up to this point. And they go, I never really did anything that great. Okay, go on. Yeah, no, I didn't like my job. I had a bad boss. I blah, 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 blah. And they just go on a ramble. And I go, okay, so what are you going to say in an interview when they to ask you to tell you about your past? Tell them about your past. Well, I don't really want to talk about it. I just want to talk about what I'm working on now. All right, what are you working on now? Well, I don't have that much experience, so I'm not really working on anything right now. Well, Jesus Christ, what the hell are we going to talk about in this job interview, right? So what we need to do is we need to say, wait a second, the words I use shape my reality. The way I describe things shapes how they are. When I tell a story and remember a story, I'm actually creating that story again. And I get to choose how I create it. So whenever we're doing negative self-talk, whenever we're doing all these things, like we are truly, it's so woo-woo, but we are creating that reality. We're creating whatever reality we're saying.